Hello everyone, my name is Jaden and I'm a digital artist and educator. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I like to discuss topics relating to the animation industry, such as career advice, portfolio tips, networking etiquette, and more. Today, I'd like to welcome a very special guest on the first episode of my interview series. We have the lovely Althea joining us today, a DreamWorks production intern for spring of 2022, who's been kind enough to answer all of my burning questions. So let's kick things off with an introduction. Tell us a bit about yourself, where you're from, what got you interested in animation, and why production. How does it feel to be starting your first industry gig?
Hi, well, my name is Althea Rapio. I grew up in Florida, but I was born in the Philippines. I was a first-gen immigrant, and I definitely got into animation with the way that I grew up on cartoons, and I loved, of course, I loved anime when I was growing up. It definitely wasn't cool back then, but I didn't care. I had a lot of fun. Right before Halloween, I was in class. I got the email from DreamWorks from Eileen. They were interested in having a phone interview, and when I got that email, I cried to my animation professor, and we were like, I was like crying for 20 minutes. It was just such a moment. I was like,
That's so sweet.
So that was like the first of many interviews. I had 4 interviews. So I had a phone interview later that Wednesday saying, "Hi, this is Eileen. There are 4 teams that were interested in interviewing you for the DreamWorks production management internship." And I was like, I only need one to say yes to me. And I was like, 4 chances. I had 4 chances to just give it my all, do my best. And then early through the middle of November, it went on 1 week. And then I had 3 consecutive ones. And I was like, oh my God, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the first one, I was so nervous. I was shaking in my boots for like 2 hours. There's nothing to help that. I was like, oh my God, like, what if I look bad? What if I mess up? The time before that, I used to watch all the things that at least were announced, because some stuff was not announced, as well as talk to my friends, my friend and mentor, Monsi, who was amazing, who gave me some great advice, as well as Tamara Lee and Charlie Ingram, who were also my friends that moved to LA as Disney PAs now. And I was like watching interview prep for like an hour beforehand, and it comes to the meeting, and it was fine. I was not worth shaking in my boots for, but I don't know. I was very nervous, and it was okay. I don't think I did amazing, but I think it wasn't bad. I was like, I don't want to burn through all my chances. Like, I don't want to fumble.
Would you say that the first interview that you were in, because that was the most nerve-wracking one, it was your first one, as you did more and more of them, you kind of became more comfortable, like the more you did it?
Absolutely. I had my first one on Wednesday, and I only freaked out for an hour instead of 2 hours. And then Thursday, it was like, okay, 30 minutes. So I'll give myself 30 minutes beforehand to like be in the mood. And then Friday, I came home from an animation club meeting, and I had like 10 minutes to spare. I was like, fuck it, it's my last one. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't do my best. It's just like, well, I've done this 4 times now, and like I know how to do this. And that's the one that offered me the internship.
Okay.
Puss in Boots too, Miss Lisa Briggs. She was so sweet, but it was both my easiest and probably my best interview. Since then, that's where I am. I'm an intern. So, hurrah, huzzah!
Yes.
Focusing on what I wanted to do in animation for like the past 2.5 years, up until like early 2021. I was like, yeah, I want to be in the animation industry, but like for what? Like I had a character design class. I didn't like it. I got too attached to every character I ever made. I tried, environments. I was weak at perspective, like learning all the skills, and then realizing that, okay, wow, production management is something my friends went into. What's that all about? And I realized those are all the skills and like all the fun stuff of being part of the animation industry, but I'm not the artist. I'm the ones managing the artists, scheduling and everything. And I did that already with the animation club. Shout out to my beloved USF Animation Club for being there for me. Of course, like getting into movies, like when I was a little bit older, being so passionate about art and wanting for that to be the rest of my life, to be here in this moment to say that I'm a DreamWorks intern, over the moon. I never would have expected a year ago. So definitely being here is like such a crazy, crazy time of my life. The events leading up to here definitely were crazier. So all I can say is that it's awesome to be here. So thank you.
That's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing your backstory with us. So, what skills and experience, such as clubs, extracurricular activities, volunteer work, really helped your resume stand out and helped you land your internship?
First, it was my WIA mentorship. My mentor, Monsi, who was a lovely friend and she's amazing. I applied to her introverted in the industry mentorship back in fall, and that began like late August and lasted till December. That mentorship was all about production management, telling us what to do, what it was, what the track looks like, the career path looks like, as well as resumes, portfolio building, how to start networking and get ready for interviews. And thankfully, all of that worked out in the case of when I applied to the DreamWorks spring internship. It worked out that I was pretty ready. I had a pretty neat resume, I would say, and it was just really a good position to be.
At the beginning, you mentioned your WIA mentorship. Can you tell us what WIA is and a little bit more about it?
Yes,
Yeah.
I love Women in Animation, amazing organization. It's all about wanting like 50-50 in the industry by 2025. And what they do is they offer mentorships in the fall and spring for women and non-binary identifying people. They set them up with industry professionals. In my case, and I think it's similar elsewhere, I had one mentor from the industry and then like 10 other mentees. And it's only a 4-hour total like investment every month. So we had 2 meetings every other week for 2 hours, learning about something new. And it was really informative and such a great time to meet other people who are also in the same position as I am. And I'm still friends with those mentees, um, two of which are also interns. So yay, I love them. They're so cool. So I think I've been a WIA member for maybe a year and a half at this point, I think. But I highly recommend for everyone to join. You don't have to be a woman to join, but you can, everybody can support women wanting more equality in the animation industry. So definitely check out WIA. And I think the next set of mentorships should be, it's during the springtime. So watch out for them. So yeah.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about your extracurricular stuff. You mentioned that you were in an animation club in your school. Is that something that also helped you stand out?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely with kind of employing Animation Club, all the points and like similarities it is to a PA position where, yeah, I schedule meetings, plan meetings, work together as a team to create an environment where everybody can and thrive, whether they want to be in the industry or not. Take care of like financial stuff sometimes, paperwork, on occasion, not that often though. And they want to know if you can, work well with others. I have heard this multiple times from different people in the industry, different speakers, different meetings. And everybody says being kind to others can get you a long way in the industry. I mean, you want to be open to learning, be nice to work with. It was different from the past year, of course, and the year before that too. I wasn't president up until literally March of 2020. So right when COVID hit. But yeah, I love Animation Club. If anybody has an animation club in their school, I mean, get involved, make one. I mean, to be honest, our club is new. It's only been around for like 3.5 years, and I'm never president for two of them.
That's really
So
good. It comes to show that you have a sense of what it's like to be in a collaborative environment and you create a little community in your school, and that's really
yeah,
awesome.
I am so proud of them. Like I will never stop talking about like how much I love my animation club. Because we pretty much had nothing to work off of because of COVID. I would always say it's never just like me doing all the cool stuff. Like I've always had really cool diverse teams of people with different interests. Like for me, it's production management, but my vice president court, environments, layouts, and my secretary, Lauren, she's really awesome at 3D animation. With that, I feel like just being collaborative with others, like practicing that, like, okay, you can work well with others and you're here to listen and be thoughtful, but without cutting critique. Yeah, always just get involved in whatever's in your university or community. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really great tip to offer. So now that you've completed your first week, I'm just dying to know, what has it been like so far? What was the onboarding process like, especially now that things are in a remote setting?
I had to set my computer up or everything DreamWorks. related. I had a VPN for a DreamWorks server. Otherwise, I can't access any of that. So it's definitely like very secure, and as well as like getting used to the Google format, using Google Calendar, how to add a signature to your Gmail, pretty much, getting used to the setup. Not that I'm unfamiliar with Google, but I've never really used Google Calendar that much in my life. It was never something I thought about up until like last week. And we have stuff for you in your Google Calendar. This is what today's going to look like for orientation. We had different meetings and learning how to use programs and pretty much exploring our DreamWorks like homepage, what to do this, how to do that. It was very long, and it was really cool.
What were your expectations of the internship going in? What are you most looking forward to, and what do you hope to learn by the end of it?
So we actually were tasked to give ourselves some SMART goals. It's pretty popular, especially in university. I just remember the timeliness.
Yeah, that one was a big one.
But I guess expectations going in, that first day of orientation, I met with Miss Lisa Briggs to talk about like, okay, what is my 12 weeks gonna look like? So I'm a traveling intern, meaning I travel throughout every department, which is so cool, so amazing. That's such an awesome opportunity that, like, not to say I would be stuck somewhere, but I get a little bit of everything. And I think that just probably makes me a little bit more well-rounded. Where do my strengths lie? What department calls to me? People who do PA work in lighting or effects is different from the art department or like rough layout. Overall, there's some things that stay the same, but sometimes you have to know a certain program or you have to know how to do something else. It's really cool. But like expectations, I guess it was like, okay, yeah, I knew that I was gonna go over all the departments. I think it was mentioned during my interview, like what potential intern would do, as well as like, yeah, get to have access to like DreamWorks stuff. I knew I was going to attend meetings, but I didn't know what I meant was supposed to do. And pretty much I just observe, and maybe in a later date, I can like practice taking notes in the way that PAs do. So I guess, yeah, those were my expectations. And like at the end of the week, it was like, okay, wow, I have a lot of resources to learning, to attending events, Q&A panels exclusively in DreamWorks. And that's so cool. I didn't know that. It was like, wow, there's so much going on. I need to get watching.
When you mention resources, do you mean that there's like courses that they offer for you to learn certain softwares or certain skills within the position?
Yeah, there's like Dream Learning and Teamworks and Dream2, a lot of stuff that is offered for people who work at DreamWorks, how to use certain programs. I see a lot of like new hire, how to use this. Yeah, there's just a lot of places and opportunities to learn, as well as like events every week, like virtual yoga.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I know that can be a little daunting for people sometimes because they're like, oh man, do I need to know this software in order to land this job? So it's good to know that they offer some cool courses and stuff that you can learn like on the job as you go along. So that's good to know.
Yeah, it is.
Another thing I've also been kind of curious about, do interns have to be enrolled in the animation guild in order to participate?
No. To my awareness, I'm not. I don't know if that's something that would change or to be hired, but as an intern, no.
Okay.
There's been no mention of it, so that's why I say no.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still good to know.
Maybe there is, but I'm not sure.
I know that it's possible that should you stay on board after your internship and you become permanent, that's definitely something that may happen. What are your responsibilities as an intern? What can you tell us about the role? Who do you work most closely with? Is it the line producer, production manager? In other words, like who does the production intern report directly to?
Reporting directly the most to Miss Lisa Briggs, who hired me. She is the production manager on Puss in Boots 2. As of right now, per se, I may not have like a role. They pretty much told me make the most of your internship, which is get on Dream2, attend those extra panels, be present. I attend not every meeting, but a lot of meetings throughout the day for the department. Like right now, I'm in the art department and matte painting department, so I attend their dailies, I attend their turnovers and stuff like that, and I take notes.
Could you tell us what dailies and turnovers are?
From what I gathered, I'm pretty sure dailies are just daily meetings. So there's turnover meetings and then there's breakdown meetings. And also I have like a whole page of just vocabulary that I learned within the first week because they use so many new words words that I had no
Yes.
idea about. And I was like, I need to write that down.
I just wanted to like elaborate a little bit for people who don't know what those terms are.
Yeah, absolutely. So a
Yeah.
turnover meeting is turning the storyboard, which has, been adapted from the script, launch that sequence into layout. So start putting it into like 3D elements. And in comparison, a breakdown is when you launch it into the animation department from like the previous stage where things are like in a T pose.
Yes, because this is a 3D pipeline that you're going to
Yes.
be observing.
So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm pretty much observing the 3D pipeline. So that's pretty much all I can say. I don't
Mhm.
really know too much about what it would be like on the 2D show or pipeline.
Awesome. So that's really insightful. It's good to know. Since production is a non artistic role that doesn't require having a portfolio, what final words of advice would you have to any students applying? What are some ways that they can kind of showcase their skills and show that they have the know how to be a really great PA?
Don't be afraid to show that you've done other jobs too. Retail skills are transferable skills into production management, dealing with customers, dealing with artists. Not that they're always the same, getting involved in communities, women in animation, personally for me, Asians in animation, Asian queens in animation, as well as like there's other places like there's also warrior painters, the Animation Story Guild, Black and Animated,
Latinx and animation
Latinx
is another
animation.
one.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of resources out there to get involved in the community that's not entirely always in the industry, but kind of round about it. So if you want to get into production management, get involved into these organizations in and out of school. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Transferable skills from like, even if you were a Starbucks barista, there's no shame in that. Absolutely none. I personally was a cashier at Aldi, and I learned a lot about customer service, being responsible, being timely, executing tasks that need to be done. So yeah, definitely show that you've worked before if you have. There's also volunteer opportunities. I think one time I volunteered for a WIA event as a moderator. So again, even if you may not be in the industry, there's always ways to volunteer and help in the ways that maybe not be paid, but that doesn't matter when you learn something cool. It was for like a critiquing panel. And this is stuff of like how, like what to put on your resume, just bulking it up. And if you're working on a senior thesis, put it under a projects tab, listing the stuff that you've done. And then on top of that, LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn, follow in, get connected, meet with people. Not to say that it's easy to do that, and not everybody will respond to you. But in any case, you only need maybe one person out of 10 to say, hey, I would be down for a 20-30 minute coffee chat to talk about what I do. Many times, and from what I've heard, people are pretty open to talk about it because they've been in that position before where they weren't in the industry and they're trying to get in. So like, just be friendly. Don't take up too much of their time. Definitely don't ask for an hour of their time.
Yeah. I
But
mean, our meeting today is an example of that. I messaged you and I was like, hey, do you have some
hey,
time? Let's do an interview and here we are. So
yeah,
perfect
I mean,
example.
it's a great way to get to know other people and to start building your network because it's all about who you know. And I know probably people get tired of hearing that. You never know who you may meet and who's willing to meet with you. And I also say, like, don't say no to yourself. I tell this to myself and I tell this to my friends. Like, even if you think you may not be qualified or you're not cool enough or you're not good enough, I was there. I had no idea where I was like last December. Just try, apply to everything and just to be present and just to be involved makes a world of a difference. Personally, nowadays, I do 5 minutes on LinkedIn every day to just go like and repost stuff. And in that case, my LinkedIn has grown because of just being active. You meet a lot of cool people. And maybe for a while, you're the one who's always reaching out to others. In any case, afterwards, sometimes they might reach out to you, which is a very cool thing. And then on top of that, have a really nice resume and cover letter. And I say all of the stuff that I've mentioned can also apply to artists, but most especially for production management, resume and cover letter. If you're in school right now, put your education on top. When you're applying to jobs, put the education at the bottom. Resumes and stuff can be talked about for a long while, but just
Yes.
have a good resume, have a good cover letter, have it tailored to each studio and each position. But yeah, overall, production management is all about the people, and you're going to work with people. So if you're not a people person, learn how to be. Putting out little fires. This is something I learned. I've had people say to me, and I was like, wow, I guess so.
Being a
So
problem solver.
problem
Yeah.
solving. Yeah, absolutely.
And last but not least, where can our viewers find you on social media if they would like to reach out with any additional questions?
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram, AJ_extraordinary. And then on LinkedIn, just Althea Rapio. That's all that I have because I don't have a portfolio. You can DM me through Instagram. I don't mind. I'm on there too much. So yeah, you can. Yeah, if anybody wanted to contact me if they had questions, yes, they may.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you so much, Jaden. It's been a wonderful time. You've been a great host.
Once again, thank you so much. And if anyone would like to reach out to Althea, I'll be providing her info in the description down below. If you guys enjoyed this first episode of my interview series, there is more to come. I will be inviting more guests from all different kinds of roles within animation, ranging from character design to directing to storyboarding and much more. Althea will be making a second appearance in the near future because upon the conclusion of her internship program, we'll be reflecting on her expectations versus reality and what her whole experience was like. So again, stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps my channel grow. If you're interested in catching the part 2 to this interview, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss a thing. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye everyone!